What's up, guys? So in this video, we're going to talk about how to become an apartment locator. Okay, so an apartment locator is a licensed real estate agent that's actually taken advantage of a little known sub niche within the real estate industry called apartment locating. And so I think the reason more and more real estate agents and people are becoming very interested in this job is because compared to every other real estate agent job title or sub niche, apartment locating, in my opinion, is the easiest thing to do to actually generate a full-time income with your real estate license. The whole process of generating leads, helping them over the phone and from home, and closing the clients all the way up to sending invoices to properties and collecting your real estate commissions just happens so much faster than any other sub niche that I know about, right? So I think that's the reason this little known sub niche is gaining more traction, and it's really starting to finally trend, right? I've been talking about this sub niche for the last year, and for the longest time it just seems like I'm the only one talking about this on social media, because I was lucky enough to be introduced to this real estate niche as a real estate agent just a few years ago when absolutely no one was talking about it, right? So chances are, if you're even a little bit familiar with the earnings that you can make as an apartment locator, then you know that this is a true six-figure income by leveraging your real estate license, right? So the first thing to do to become an apartment locator is to really just get licensed, right? You need your real estate license in almost every state. The exception is Colorado. You actually don't need a real estate license to do anything that has to do with multifamily marketing or offering services, even collecting commissions with anything to do with multifamily. So apartment locating is absolutely multifamily. I've actually called the Colorado, the DORA, whatever they're called, right? Department of Real Estate. It's called DORA out in Colorado. So I actually called them and had a conversation with them. There's actually a video I recorded of me doing that live inside of our private apartment locating Duck Hunter Facebook group, right? So first of all, if you're not already a part of the fastest growing apartment locator Facebook group community in the world, then join my group, right? Just go to Facebook, look up the groups, and then type in apartment locating Duck Hunters and join. There's a video in there where I actually call Dora and confirm live, like, hey, do we really need a license to do this or not in Colorado? And the answer was no, right? So really, wherever you are inside of the United States, right? Technically, you could just not need a license to work in Colorado and just work in Colorado and market in Colorado remotely from anywhere in the United States, as long as you have internet. So that is a hack that some of my students and followers have been using, just to kind of try out the industry and make some commissions and just kind of prove to themselves that this business is really exciting and lucrative and sort of everything it takes to be successful, right? So a lot of people have been using Colorado as a test market ever since I suggested that and did the research behind it, right? But I still recommend getting licensed, right? Because there's something about calling yourself a licensed real estate agent that to me just kind of makes you seem more competent to all the potential leads you're working. And it's just nice to have your real estate license. That way you can avoid, any kind of gray areas and just basically apartment locate in multiple different markets with no risk because you're licensed, right? So the first thing to do is get licensed, right? So what I recommend doing is actually something a little bit unorthodox, right? I recommend that if you're interested in apartment locating and you're trying to get your real estate license, do it online, because what you can end up doing is you can find better rates for all of your minimum required hours through online schooling. And what I found out over my 7-year career in real estate, kind of keeping up to date with the markets and what people are teaching, since I'm a real estate teacher and mentor myself, right? So I keep up with this stuff. What I've noticed though is that your pre-licensing minimum required classes, like there's tons of companies that just basically offer the same material and just rebrand it in a different company, right? So the point here is that if you just Google like get my real estate license minimum hours or something, right? What you can do is you can just compare prices very, very fast on Google, sign up for the minimum required hours in whatever your market is. If you don't know what your minimum required hours is, just type in whatever state you're in and then type in real estate commission. Jump on the website and then they'll tell you on the real estate commission website, right? So here in Texas, it's like you got to get your 180 hour minimum or whatever. So check this out, Texas Real Estate School, full 180 hour hour package, look, 35% off. So just go ahead and find whatever the lowest rate is, do all your classes online, and then, you know, that's basically the best way to get rid of all, you know, get through your minimum required hours. And then you just would grab some kind of free online quiz or study packet booklet. Those are pretty valuable in order to kind of get prepared and then pass your master exam once all your minimum required hours are completed. So do this online. I know it's kind of unorthodox, right? A lot of people go inside a classroom setting and they do it in person, but the problem with that is that it just takes so long, right? Like usually it's a couple of months in order to get through the curriculum in person. And you know, the thing is, if you're trying to do this for apartment locating, everything you're going to learn from the minimum required hours is going to be really, really broad and general, with like promulgated random contract forms, real estate math, like the mortgage interest rates, all that stuff, legality, terms, etc. So it's like has nothing to do with the apartment locating sub niche. What you'll find is that there's really little training when it comes to apartment locating, right? That's why I've actually made it a passion of mine and a full-time job to actually teach this industry and offer an apartment locating masterclass for anybody that really wants to dive in and conquer this industry A to Z, where I actually, you know, hold your hand and take you through modules from beginning all the way to more advanced tactics, all the way up to like super hardcore digital marketing, like let's dominate this industry. So I offer a masterclass for that very reason, because I saw a lack in the market of true apartment locating teaching. But anyways, moving forward, I would recommend getting your license and doing all that stuff online, because you can breeze through it in 3 weeks. It took me 21 days exactly from the day I started my minimum required hours to passing the test and doing the fingerprints. Like all that stuff took me 21 days exactly, right? Instead of 3 months in classroom setting, right? And then when I started working, I did like 11,000 my first month and then 15,000 my second month. So like imagine if I went through the classroom setting and just wasted 2 more months. Like that's like over $26,000 in commissions I could have just, you know, not have earned if I was still going through my licensing, right? So the point is to do it online so you can hurry up and get to this duck hunting. I call dollar bills bucks, ducks. So let's get to this duck hunting. All right, so the second thing you need to do to become an apartment locator is, after your license, right, what you need to do is you need to find out if the apartment locating industry is actually really lucrative in whatever state or city you're in, right? So I actually made a video very recently called like, what is apartment locating? And that goes over like the business side of if it's lucrative and what markets, etc. You can check that video out probably right over here to the left or the right of me, whatever this side is. Check out that video. It'll go through every city and every state, so we don't want to miss that video to make sure this is going to be lucrative for you in the first place, because there's about like 15 or 20 states or so, right, where you can really take advantage of this industry. So, you know, once you know that it's actually going to be really lucrative in your market, then you need to find a sponsoring broker. And this is a touchy topic that I'm probably going to make an entire video over again, you know, how to find a good sponsoring broker for you. What I recommend is you go through like a broker that really full-time focuses on apartment locating, because they're going to have a lot of things already set up for you, like vendor agreements. You have to actually have a vendor agreement before you do business with as an apartment locator with properties. So, you know, an apartment locating focused broker will have all that stuff already done, marketing agreements in place. They'll probably have a decent collections department to help you collect your checks, right? So go to an apartment locating sponsoring broker, and you've got to hang your license with a sponsoring broker, because you're probably just a licensed real estate agent. If you want to do this job alone without a sponsoring broker, then you're going to need a broker license, which is much more rigorous. It's like 4 years more experience and 3 times the schooling compared to getting your normal real estate license, right? So you got to get a sponsoring broker, but that's basically it. The only paid tool you really need to become an apartment locator is an apartment locating, you know, sophisticated database. I teach the database Smart because it works the best, really, and there's not really many options out in the market right now. So I teach Smart. You know, you need a paid database. It's like $30 or $40 a month, and that's it, right? You don't need to actually be a trademarked realtor and get access to the MLS pass or even have a super key or any of that stuff, right? The traditional realtors have to pay for. So we're talking thousands of dollars saved. And the only real tool you need is a $30 a month freaking database, which will send out emails of properties to your clients. It'll also keep track of all of your commissions. Like you have like your own account receivable department in the database, and then it'll allow you to send out invoices so you can get paid from referring people for free over to apartment buildings. That's sort of how it works, right? So that's all you really need. Obviously, in my paid coaching program, I go over, several sophisticated pieces of software to really kind of improve your efficiency and help you work less and make more money. So I teach like CRMs, drip campaigns, sales funnels, lead gen, paid ads, all that stuff is inside of my paid program, but it's not really a requirement unless you're trying to dominate the industry like me and some of my paid students do. But the only real required tool to become an apartment locator is just your paid database. And that's basically it for the most part. You can at least get started that way, right? So I hope this video was helpful. Basically, to summarize everything, you got to get licensed unless you want to work in Colorado and use that hack that I just gave you. And then you need to find a sponsoring broker, and then you need to find out if your city is actually lucrative by watching my most recently uploaded video right over there. What is apartment locating? That will go over the coverage map to see if it's even viable in your market. And then join my freaking private Facebook group, because there's tons of value in there. And I let you guys, like everyone in the Facebook group, I let you guys piggyback off of my paid student live coaching calls that we do twice a month. So there's tons of value in there. So why wouldn't you join the private Facebook group if it's free, right? So the link is in the description. I'll also pin a comment. Join the Facebook group. And if you really want to understand what this business is all about and really dive deep, then register for my most recent webinar whenever the next time is, and we're going to go ahead and present to you a 60-minute presentation on if this business could be right for you, what it takes to succeed. And then at the end of that, I'll ask you to become one of my paid students so I can hold your hand and almost certainly guarantee your success in this industry. So check out the links in the description and in the pinned comments, and thank you so much for checking out this channel. Definitely become an apartment locator. What the heck are you waiting for? We've been making six figures for years, so welcome to the family.